Welcome back to another Thursday. I am Chantel Branch, your domestic violence specialist. I educate individuals and especially women on why their decision to remain silent keeps them locked in abuse. As you know, if this is your first time joining us, I would like to say welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so happy that you are here. I'm happy that you are joining in, and feel free to like, comment, and share the broadcast. In addition to that, if you have not picked up my latest book, Decisions, just head on over to www.mffproject.com. You can pick up my latest copy of Chained by Boundaries, and then you can pick up my first novel entitled Decisions. They are both books about domestic violence. They give you tips and tools that you need in order to break free from a toxic relationship. And if you are someone you know, if you're on Facebook or you're looking for support, I have an MFF DV support group. So feel free to head on over to Facebook and go to MFF Project DV Support Group and answer the questions, agree to the rules, because it is a safe space and we want to make sure that it is a place where each of us can be vulnerable, share, love on each other, virtually hug on each other, and be able to get what we need in order to move forward after toxic relationships, after suffering trauma. So even if you are still in that relationship and you're just needing support, you want to talk about some things, you want to bounce some ideas, hey, we are there. MFF Project DV Support Group. And I have an interesting topic today, right? And as always, I have a wonderful guest. And listen, we're going to jump into it. But there has been just so much programming that has been going on through the media, through television, through radio, from what our eyes see. Do you know that marketing is a strategic plan of programming? That they strategically use what catches the eye, from the colors to different things that catch the ear, the sounds, everything is strategically planned to create programs. And when creating programs, it's also a way of programming us. And the more and more we allow things to come into our mind, our psyche, images to scroll across our face, we oftentimes forget about ourselves, forget the things that we like because we're so caught up in what the next person is doing, what the next celebrity is liking, and then we go on to trying those things without even coming up with things on our own. We no longer, we are becoming an unthinking society. And I brought on a guest, and we're going to break this thing down because it really speaks to the identity of a woman. And so, if this is your first time joining us, we are talking about the identity of a woman, why it is so important for us as women to know who we are, to know where we're going, to understand our purpose, and then to get moving forward, walking in our purpose. But before we can do that, we have to know our identity. What shapes us? What are our values? What are our morals? What has shaped our character, and why it is so important about knowing ourselves? Because when we know ourselves, our children can make an accurate description of us. They can say, well, my mother is this. When we know ourselves, our mothers can say, I know that my daughter is this. When we know who we are, it exudes and it promotes, and you have a standout confidence about you. Why would we not want to be confident? Why would we want to express is shake ya or nah, right? The programming that we have been forced to see over and over and over again just is continuing. And we as women are asked to wear less and less clothes. And then we adopt the concept and we say, well, this is what I want to do. But are you really feeling good when you do it? Are you really feeling good when you get up and you put on nothing? Not enough, because that impacts and speaks to your identity, whether you know it or not, whether you agree to it or not, whether it's all about checking the bag or not, it speaks to your identity. So listen, I have a great guest. Her name is Tawanda, and as she is coming in, hey Tawanda, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. So hey, tell us who you are, tell us what you do, and we're gonna dive deep into this. Shake ya or nah.
Okay, well, first off, the topic definitely got me. My name is Tawanda, and I represent a media company named Major Bands Films, where we are pretty much media influencers for the urban community, one-stop shop to do quality services of all affordability, from film to photo, graphics, you name it. And basically, my background is all media. So what we're speaking about today, as far as women identity, it ties into what I do actually for a living. And that's my whole purpose is really to put out positive imagery, especially of Black women and men, because we definitely have a lot of negative imagery that stereotypes us and our identity. So, yes.
Awesome. How long have you been in the media industry?
Oh, man. Okay. Freelancing has been the last 6 years. So if I had to sum it up, approximate 10 years total.
10 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you a music lover, a movie lover? What are some of your favorite things as far as it relates to programming?
Okay, so I am a music lover. I am a movie lover. And as far as it relates to programming, for me in particular, I had a certain style that I really liked in music growing up. So, for example, I'll just use her as an example. Lauryn Hill was one of my favorite lyricists growing up. And I did appreciate her music because it made you think. And it wasn't just something that just was a club hit or something to just dance to or jam to. It was actually, thought provoking songs that she would put out there. And then as far as movies go, I'm into documentaries. I love being able to tell other people's stories, their testimonies. And then I also like to do movies where you can actually tell stories about a character, such as, like, if I could use an example, Antoine Fisher is one of my favorite movies because it gets a chance to tell his background, his story, how he, where he came from to now and how he was able to overcome. So I actually really just love intellectual, media where it makes me think and it gives me something different to ponder on and not just, basic stuff that makes me think down or like on a lower frequency, if that makes sense.
We're talking about frequencies. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the reason I'm asking you that is I want us, as we go deep into this conversation, to understand that I don't know how old you were when you started watching TV, but I feel like I've been watching TV at least since I was 5, right?
Yes.
And even if I couldn't watch TV, I wanted to watch TV. And being with my grandmother, I always had to watch the news, but I didn't care because I just wanted to watch TV. Or then sometimes I was just super bored because when they would do like the world news or they would watch the news for the fourth time that day. Okay, I'm done with the news.
Yeah.
When did you notice? And I don't know, I mean, and we're talking about thinking back. So now we're adults, we're going to think back. When did you notice that as African American women, they had a harder time when it came to being on set, when it came to getting cast for roles? When did you notice that the trend of more and more African American women it was growing?
That's a good question. Good question. To be honest with you, to answer that, that would probably be around the time I graduated. So that was over 10 years ago. So probably about 2010 was when I really started seeing, more women on the production side, because I was mainly focused on the production side of the set. So you wouldn't see as many women on the cameras. You would see them more on the floor directing side, where they just, direct on the actual floor where the talent is, or they would be like in the audio studio, but it would never be like groundwork, like wrangling cables, moving cameras, putting the set up. It was usually a man job to kind of do some of that heavy stuff. But honestly, my class usually, I would say partially half of my class was split off with women as well as men. So it was a nice balance when I was getting ready to graduate.
Awesome, awesome. And when it comes to like the acting side and even artists, when did you notice that it was more African American women beginning to come, and get more contracts, get more deals, and being able to be seen on TV? More women that look like us.
Now that, as far as television, I would have to say Scandal was really my first, kind of breakthrough, I would say, where we started getting leading roles as far as like a mainstream TV station. That was kind of rare. I mean, of course, we always seen like shows like Girlfriends, Moesha, The Parkers, but that wasn't like on a mainstream level like the NBC type of channel. So to see Scandal and to see Kerry Washington as the leading lady in the actual TV show, I think that really sparked more of an avenue to see more Black women in leading roles. So she kind of, in my opinion, broke the door down a little bit with that.
I think she did, and I think Viola Davis just came right through the door, was like, "What's up?"
Yes, she was ready right after.
Right after, and I love it because she was at a level of maturity. She was so seasoned that she had been through the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s of the industry, right? And now, because she had all of that experience of the good as well as the bad, and she always had to play like a helping role or supporting role. She never, when she got the chance to play that leading role in How to Get Away with Murder, it really solidified to me our place in the industry. And no matter the shade of your brown, you have the opportunity to get those positions, get those jobs. And when you do it all the way.
That's right.
Do it all the way.
And can I just say, the thing I loved about Viola Davis, I appreciated her natural hair. She made it in her might behind the scenes, because I read a little article about her, and I can't remember exactly what magazine. But I remember her saying on set that she really wanted to show scenes with her and her natural hair, because even though a majority of her role was to be under the wig, she still wanted to show her natural self. And so she was like, I demand this on set. You need to put certain scenes in here where I take my wig off when I'm at home, because this is, like a Black woman's anthem type of thing. So I was like, okay, Viola. So she broke some doors with that too.
Absolutely. And I really love August Wilson. And I am so like, I guess I just discovered August Wilson. So although I saw his work, I did not connect with the person. And as of recently being home for, during the pandemic for COVID, I got to watch one of his documentaries, and it was just a competition of children doing his work. And then I would go back, and I even had my daughter memorizing one of his monologues, and she performed it in like front of just audio, like on Clubhouse. And it was really cool, like for producers and directors and casting agents. But when we watched the documentary and when she took on that piece, it really allowed me to see us. And so I went back and I looked at some of the videos, and one of them had Viola Davis from the 80s with what's the man? James Earl Jones,
Oh yes,
and
yes.
even Denzel, and they were
Hmm.
doing the plays on, and it was so intriguing. It was so captivating. It was so raw.
Hmm.
And I think that is what is missing now is that rawness, that realness. Everything is so fake and or almost it's too polished.
It's too
But
polished.
where's
Yeah.
that rawness? Where's that real gut wrenching? And I believe Viola is an excellent. I'm so glad we're talking about her. An excellent person to portray that, especially in Fences. Like
Oh
she was
yes.
raw.
Oh my
Like,
goodness. Oh my goodness. Just talent, talent all the way around. Yeah.
and so when we're talking about talent, how come, or what are your thoughts as it relates to African American women when it comes to artistry? Because I heard you mention artistry and just how, you know, the music, of course, it's different from it was,
Hmm.
but the real artistry, why are the real artists being overlooked in the industry? Is it because they're not shaking their top ties and they
They
rocks?
wops.
They right.
That's what it is. Yes. It's hip hop was meant to be an uplifting culture for our people, and now it has turned into this. And I don't want to say the wrong thing when I say this, but it's almost like you stated earlier with the programming. It's turning into this lower frequency wave now for us to just act on impulse now instead of think. And like you stated earlier, unthinking society. We don't realize how powerful music is. We don't realize how powerful the sounds are, the beat, the lyrics, the artist. All of those things are energy that's being placed on a music track. And us as women in particular, to keep hearing over and over a certain name that you're being called, or to keep hearing certain lyrics over and over about either it's your skin complexion or body parts, or if it's your hair or just anything. Women have just been objectified, I would say, more so in hip hop. And it kind of just went for a downturn, in my opinion, as far as even with the artists and the lyricists. Like, they don't want to see a female rapper uplifting her sisters. They want to see her downgrade herself. And honestly, that's the images that we're seeing today. Like the obsession with just the woman's body now, instead of her intellectually or what she brings to the table other than just sex, basically. And honestly, that's the identity for young women to have to look up to that's really sad to me when you think about it, because they really look at these celebrities and these music artists almost like they're the president, you know what I mean, of their estate. So they really put them on a high pedestal. And so, man, I wish it was better, but yeah, that's why we're talking about it.
We're talking about it. So young girls making these artists their idols, and
Yes,
even people who are Instagram famous are now
yes.
getting into commercials and
Hmm.
different things that I've been seeing since the pandemic. Which again, we're talking about programming and
Hmm.
how the media, they know how powerful music is. They know how powerful a visual image is to your eye. They know how powerful certain colors are and how it will catch your eye, and certain sounds will catch your ears. And all
Hmm.
that is programmed into that commercial.
Hmm.
And if I think about the funniest commercials to me are the ones about the medicine. And people are horseback riding, they riding a bike, they walking down the street holding their loved one hand. And then it's these crazy, it's a list of 20,000 side effects. And then purchase this drug and talk to your physician about this. It sounds like a death defying drug. Like, I'm to take this drug and then I'm going to be impacted with all of these side effects. And I hope that what I need the drug for is actually going to be getting cured in addition to all this extra side effects. Just like with us as women and having young girls and having teenage girls looking at these for us. We had magazines, right? We had videos if you had cable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now everything is right in their hands. And so they can scroll through and they can look at someone like we are in our comfort space. We have created space to jump online and do this live, right? The same
Yes.
way these people are doing the Instagrams, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
creating the space inside of their house, and you don't know what's going on in their life, in their mind, and even you don't even know how their front room looks, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
because they have placed this image in front of you, you now think that you need to now recreate that image in your mind and then in your body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's programming.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm finding it and I'm seeing, and I don't know about you, the young girls are as young as 16 and 17 and 18. They're ready to go to another country and get surgery. And one star, which is really, really unfortunate, and I think it speaks so much to identity. And it is
Mm-hmm.
in the news.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm bringing up this individual because this in the news. It's everybody know. Okay,
Yes.
it's Googleable, and it is with the artist Hazel Scott, and she recently had a baby, and now then she went over somewhere and got surgery, but the surgery was a botch. So now she's
Mm.
back here suffering, and she did not get the look that she wanted. But it really, when we speak about identity, it goes back to us loving ourselves. Who teaches us to love ourselves? Tawanda, who taught you to love yourself?
To be honest with you, because man, that's a deep question. We might have to do a podcast about that. Self-love. Seriously. The word of God taught me how to love myself. Just spending time with God, praying.
But who gave you the word of God?
My mother.
Your mother.
My mother did, yeah.
So your first teacher was your mom.
My mom.
She
Yeah.
taught you and she gave you the word of God.
Yes. She said, this is the most important book in your life you will ever come across. That's what she told me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And parents, we're our children's first teachers. And it's so
Yes.
unfortunate that we want to look like somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't think for ourselves that I'm
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, that I am
Mm-hmm.
worth it, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
special. This nose that I have, my daddy gave it to me. And I'm going to love on me with this nose that I have.
That's right.
This hair that I have, I got it from my mother because my daddy say he don't have that. I'm gonna I'm gonna love on this hair that I have because this is what God gave for me. And it is a part of my identity. And if I don't embrace it, my children won't embrace theirs. My grandchildren won't embrace theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 generations later, we now have a whole family impacted that's not embracing their physical features.
Yes. Yes.
And so when that happens, it creates a toxicity within ourselves, a
Mm-hmm.
negativity, a negative thought within ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. And it's crazy because to try to teach a positive thought through media, just to kind of tie that in what you just stated, versus a negative thought, for some reason, just going based off of my experience on set, it was definitely more targeted to pushing negative images more than it was positive. And I think it's because, like today, we live in a society where people just love drama and they love messiness. Like, if I could tie in the reality TV
I
shows,
was
like,
going to say reality TV.
Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, the list goes on. And I always used to ask this to just as an individual to myself. The title of the actual reality show is Love and Hip Hop. But I'm asking myself, where's the love? Where's the hip hop?
Right. Where is the music? Who are you people? Where is the music? Where is the love for the music? Like, if you're going to have a conflict, have conflict because so is trying to stop you from going to the studio, and
Thank
you love the
you.
studio so much, and you stayed up 14, 18 hours, and you don't wrote 72 songs, and you just want to get to the studio. So now you got to clap back because
There you go.
they try to stop you from getting to the studio. They told the Uber man to keep going. Like, you know, the
That's how it
conflict.
started. Is them
Yes.
focused on their artistry, and then it just became this, oh no, let's get them throwing drinks on each other. Let's get them fighting. Let's get them catting. Let's get them sleeping with each other's man. What in the world? How did it go from me focusing on me being in the studio and trying to be an artist to now I gotta cackle and fight and throw a drink and
So what does that energy do to that person? Because we see tapes. We don't see the full, we don't see the full thing. You carry that home.
You do. You do.
And then you carry it right back to that dang on set.
And they sign a contract too. That's the bad part.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know of Duchess, who was on Black Ink crew.
I've heard of her. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now she had an interview, I would probably say a few years back, and she was speaking about how she really had to, I hate to say this, really sell her soul basically to be on this reality TV show. And now she's like trying to rebuild her life, you know, disassociating herself with that character. But my only thing about that is,
was like, she the one who was really very catty and negative, and then she decided to change and turn over a new leaf, which is a beautiful thing.
That's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. That's a beautiful thing. But she did know that that's what her character was going to entail when she signed the contract. So that's the thing they don't. Oh yes, honey. When this media stuff, when we really get to dive in deep, you have to have a pre-production, a production, and then post-production. During the pre-production, that's where all the script writing take place, the characters drawn up take place, the hiring teams.
Reality TV was real. You just get together and you come over my house and we just having a casual conversation. And no,
I wish it used to be in real world. I would probably say that was probably the last little genre of reality TV, in my opinion, was Real World and Road Rules. And then once we started getting into these dating shows like Flavor of Love, and then Love and Hip Hop came out, all that stuff is scripted. Because think about this, and I only say this because this usually gets everybody. Every time you see them giving a testimony, or every time you see that camera, their makeup is on point. They had to take time to put that makeup on. So if I'm just following you around and it's not scripted and it's just reality, then why can't I see you without your makeup? You had to go get yourself prepped up to get on camera. So
well, I knew you was gonna have a camera, so I just had to keep getting something on my face so I could be the camera.
But you, as well as I know, back then when Road Rules was out in the real world, they didn't have all that.
No, they wasn't.
Lights, camera, action.
It was just a lookout.
And then you would go in a booth, and then you would give your testimony in that booth, and that was your reality. But it was never like on the level that they have these reality shows now. All this stuff is scripted. So it's still a mindset of programming that they're trying to put on our younger women, that throwing drinks on each other is ladylike. You know what I mean? Disrespecting your fellow sister when we should be lifting each other up and edifying each other. This is what we want y'all to do. We want you to fight. We want you to, you know, cackle and mess up relationships. That's what they're telling the young women now. And it's sad because you don't see that. You don't see that on a lot of those white Caucasian reality shows as much.
And then after that, and now you are some type of celebrity, right? And you have some level of fame, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now you're ready for love. What does that look like? Because all we know, and when I say we, I mean the men who will come to find, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. So the man that will come to find you, when he looks at the things that you've been engaging in, the acts and the conversations, will he find and truly find a good thing?
Oh, that's a good point that you just made. Like, because it's almost like food. You are what you eat. So with media, it's the same thing. You are what you consume. So if you constantly watching these images, eventually it's going to become your mentality. And you're going to eventually start behaving a certain way if you're steady programming yourself to see these types of images, and I don't think we understand how powerful that is. Like, to keep watching something over and over, even when we binge watch, like, we have to be mindful, like, it's still programming. You sit there, you can watch your favorite show all day, but it's still like, hey, I might like that character, get attached to this particular character. Now my mannerisms change, or I might, shift the way I dress because I really like the way that character dresses in that show. Or I might change the color of my hair because I really like the hair color that I saw on that young lady on that TV show. We don't realize it does affect us. I mean, makeup too. Oh, I love the way she did her eyebrows or her lipstick. I'm going to go get something like that because I saw the way that looked. Goes vice versa with celebrities. How many of these young women want to look like Kim Kardashian?
Oh my goodness. And
going back to the bodies.
And for me, I think one of the things that really caught my attention early on was the red bottom shoes. I didn't even know how. I was like, what? And I remember going downtown Chicago, and I go in the store and I try it on. I said, I like to be comfortable.
Thank you. Thank you. And I can be cute and be comfortable. I ain't got to
be cute and be comfortable. And in addition to that, if your income does not,
let's go there.
If your rent costs the same amount as these shoes, right? And you have to choose between paying your rent and getting these shoes, and then you're going to hustle the rest of the money. Or even if you did vice versa, I'm going to pay my rent, but then I'm going to hustle the rest of the money to get these shoes, but you can't even afford an outfit to go with it, right? Or who are you dating that's going to take you out with $1,000 shoes on? Yeah. What kind of car are they driving? Can they keep you and the shoes safe? Not only that, is your financial plan in order in such a way that you're making money in your sleep to where it is not even something that you're thinking about, whether I'm choosing between my rent and buying shoes, but I have assets, I have equity, I have stocks, I have streams of revenue coming in because I have a business, I have products, I have a service that I sell. And I have an abundance of money, and I have a financial plan, and my finances are in order. And now I want to splurge on myself. It fits in my budget, right? Because I make so much more. And now it's without a thought that I can go and purchase these shoes, rather than I have to decide between a necessity and a want to go and purchase these shoes.
It's bad, ain't it? When we can put ourselves on, and I want to say, I'm including myself in the conversation with these young ladies, because it's hard when you get on that level where it's like, I got to make a decision between something I really want and something that I really need. But who has programmed me to want these shoes? That would be my question. Why is the red bottom shoes so exciting? What's so special about them? They're pumps. They're just like any other normal pump. And if I really want a red bottom so bad, I can paint it. I mean, I know that's funny, but I mean, is it really that intense? Like you said, you got to make a choice over what you need and what you want. And if I really just want some red bottom shoes, can't I just go buy some black shoes and just get my little red paint and boom?
Lord,
it's something I want, and I can still afford it. I ain't got to spend my whole rent money to do it. I'm just being resourceful, but even still, that makes me think about like a Cardi B and how she focused on those red bottom shoes, and it was like the main line in her song, basically focused on that. And I just think about like the identity with that. Like, how can we identify with a pair of shoes? What is this doing for me as an individual? And I remember you stated earlier, what shapes us, our morals, our values, and our character. what is this going to say about my character having these shoes? You know,
Yeah.
how is this going to shape me as an individual and as a woman? Is this a way to make me more feminine, which is
Right.
usually why we wear our heels? Okay. Or is this a way for me to be confident in these particular materials instead of, like you said, loving yourself, learning how to embrace yourself? Because I do feel like a lot of times as women, we put our identity into things, our clothes, our shoes, our car, our jobs, how we wear our hair, our makeup. It's more of like the external is what we seem to find a way to identify with due to the program, opposed to looking internally. Like you'll never see a female rapper making mainstream music about how to love yourself. Come on, that's not gonna sell. Like
Man, and it's sad that it won't sell.
it's sad, ain't it? But it's not.
But it's also sad that that is the reason.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Love is the reason that it won't sell. But hate and derogatory comments and negative names is the reason that it will sell. And you can
Yes.
buy it and you can purchase it and you can have it in heavy rotation until it consumes you and you're singing the words, you're rapping the words. It is now in you and it's
Mhm,
in that little baby that's in the backseat of your car.
mhm.
And then when they grow up to be this person that becomes unrecognizable to you, you're like, I don't know where they got that from because I didn't teach them that. I don't
Got it
even
from the
talk
TV.
like that.
Mhm, mhm. Yes. Well, one example, just what I could just say from one of my favorite actresses when I was a little girl was Vivica A. Fox. And I remember she made a line in one of the movies she played in about her having a Lexus. So literally, I would say from watching that movie as a little girl, I wanted a Lexus because my favorite actress mentioned this in the movie. And like after I heard her say it, I went home and I looked up Lexuses. I'm like, oh, it's a nice car. I could do this. And even though it's a luxury car, my dream was, well, if K Fox says she want a Lexus, I want a Lexus too. And I'm like, it's a movie. It's not even real. This is her character that she played in the film. But I remember that scene and I was just like, that's going to be my car too. And how it could be something just like that small and it'll just shape that mindset. Because, of course, as young people, they're already influenced anyway by a lot of the imageries as well as the celebrities. So, of course, during that time, me being a child, I was already influenced anyway, easily, you know. And then, like you said, I've been watching TV since I can remember. So that
Right.
kind of shaped a lot of my mentality. It helped me to make a lot of mistakes, honestly, because I was identifying with a lot of those images on TV. But it seems like it starts with those materials. Like they get us focused on more so the materials than self, as far
Yeah,
as us as women. Yeah.
absolutely. Definitely. And
Mhm.
then, I mean, the beauty industry, I'm in the beauty industry, and it is one of the industries that make the most money. They make so much money.
Yes.
Everybody's selling lashes, everybody's selling hair,
Hmm.
everybody's selling wigs,
Hmm. Hmm.
purses, and sunglasses.
Hmm. It's like fashion. Now your
Yeah,
makeup, your face is your fashion now.
your
Hmm.
face is your fashion. Your face is an accessory when it should
Yes.
be, um, it shouldn't be, when it shouldn't be. Your face shouldn't be an accessory, right?
Agreed.
Um, and it goes back to who taught you to love you.
That's it. That's the question I always get to. Like, okay, well, who taught me that I need all of this foundation? Who
Right.
taught me that my eyebrows wasn't good enough? That I need, and don't get me wrong, because I'm the eyebrow queen. You see, I got
Girl,
mine
yo, you
filled
are
in. Girl, I
snatched
can't.
today. I see it, honey. I saw those things. I said, oh, I love that. I love
But don't
eyebrows.
get me
I love
wrong, girl, I be in there, I be practicing, I get the tweezers and all that. So don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it. And then too, with certain levels of our jobs, it does require us to wear makeup. But I'm talking about like the makeup on a whole level, like it changes your whole face type makeup. I mean, I
I
can't
think it's
even.
artistry on the makeup artist side. I'm
It
like, that's
is,
a
it is
bad joker there with that brush.
with that contouring,
However,
man.
um, it's not who you are. Like I get
It's
it
not.
if you're doing it for, hey, I have a function going on, I have an event. Because I love to do different looks. I'm in the beauty industry. I
Yes.
love different looks. I love different hair, different styles, different lipsticks, different eyes. But for me, it's for play. It's for fun. It's not anything that I believe that I cannot live without.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna have my eyebrows together at 90. Okay, they're probably gonna be gone and stuff, gray, white, whatever.
But I'm gonna still
I'm
have them now.
I'm gonna be like, girl, get it on the left eye, get it on the. She gonna be like, mama. I'm be like, girl, where's my grandbaby? Get the, cause you can't see, you can't hardly see no more. Where's your daughter at? Could you take care of grandma's eyebrows, okay? And you got like the brown in my eye. Grandma, your hair white. Girl, put the brown in my eyebrow.
Put the brown in the eyebrow. That's right.
And go get my brown wig because I got a match.
Well, I have to admit, that's one thing I can't live without. I probably be about 90 something in the senior citizen home, still rocking these brows. Even if I got to get it tattooed on, because if the hair go away, you could always get it tattooed on.
Yeah, you can get that. You can get it tattooed on. But that's a part of you embracing you, right? Even as mothers, and we have stretch marks. It's the women who cackle the most, or who make you, or who try to make you feel insecure about a natural thing that's happened to your body. When a man be like, "Ooh, girl, I don't care nothing about," like, men don't care about your stretch marks.
No,
they don't. It's us.
No, it's us.
It is us.
Now, that's the thing I wanted to tie in. As far as media, and I think we touched on this before, with the natural part of our bodies, which would even tie in with our hair. I feel like with Gabrielle Douglas, it was such focus on her edges, more so than her talent. And I was just kind of blown away by how majority of the spewed hatred that she was getting was from her own community, her own
I was just
sisters.
gonna say, who's tapping into the edges? Because if you're a good gymnast and I'm your coach, baby, I'm not worried about you. As a matter of fact, honey, I know your edge gonna get messed up, and that headband is not gonna stay. So if you flipping today or not.
There you go. There you go. But it was so sad to just see us. We were more focused on that than her winning the medal. I was just like, wow, like we've really went downward in a lot of ways. Because I mean, I grew up watching Dominic Dogs. I ain't care nothing about how her hair looked. I was just excited to see her on there.
Did she have a ponytail? I don't remember how
she used to wear a little side ponytail, but I mean, it wasn't nothing to pay attention to. I mean, I'm too busy watching the girl flipping. I ain't thinking about it.
And we were proud and we were excited.
We was like, excited. Yes. This is an imagery of me. I get to see a black girl like me flipping around doing all this. Man, that she was like a Power Ranger.
Yes. We have the power, but we give it all away. We don't use it. We don't use what we are born with, what our God-given gift is. We don't use it. And if you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it. That's right.
And you look up later down the line when you're no longer a teenager, and you wonder where your time went. You wonder where your years went. You wonder why you wonder, and you go back and remember, I spent 10 years on social media. I spent 10 years on Facebook, and I could have had a whole degree.
Man.
So, was it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Was it worth it?
I tell you.
Not for me.
Mm-mm.
Not for me.
No.
You spend your teenage years, you're drinking, you're smoking. That's imagery still.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Now it is glorified and promoted, and now it has become your idol because you wake up doing it, you go to sleep doing it. You can't wait till Friday, Saturday, Sunday so you could do it 50% more than you did it Monday through Thursday, which makes no sense at all. Then that's your red bottom money right there.
There it is. It is. It is. You know it.
And even the men, and Air Jordan. When you should be thinking of how I can get some stock in that company. and I
Yes.
can get a return on my investment. And then I can buy as many Air Jordans as I want because it's not coming out of my paycheck, but it's
Mm-hmm.
coming out of the investment that I made. And I got a return on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thinking, but we don't think like that because we're so, like you said, we do it quickly. We don't plan, we're not strategic, we don't critical think. I think that's one of the teachers' biggest things, that children are no longer critically thinking. We
Yes.
Google everything and we're
Yes.
one and done. We
Yes.
don't take the long way or the scenic route. We want to go straight through. We need a microwave and it don't even taste good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what? It's almost like we're taking the fast road, and let's say you get to that other side because you got there fast. You still get there not knowing who you are, in a sense,
You won't
because
know
you
who you
haven't
are.
had, you won't, because you haven't had that chance to really figure out your character. Because, oh, I just got to get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. You don't have time to stop and, like that. I know it sounds cliche. Stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
Stop and just think for a second, or take a day. I mean, I don't think the way society has put us today, we're like machines almost. Like we're moving like clockwork,
I
that we
feel
don't
like
really get
sometimes
a
I got
chance.
ADHD. I'm like, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook,
Yeah.
I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube.
Yes.
Um, then I'm checking my email. Like I
Then
go through like the little a crazy circle cycle. I'm like, this is retarded.
and then the phone ain't no better. The phone used to just be for phone calls and texting. Now you got the whole computer on your phone too. So now you're on
Mhm.
your phone all day.
You
Being
could Google
distracted with
forms
different
on the
things.
phone.
Yes, you could do Excel, Microsoft, all that stuff all on the
Everything.
phone.
I'm about to
It's
take my
like
test, my online test on my phone. I'm in school though.
right, doing
Programming.
Zoom classes on the phone.
On the
Everything is so
phone.
accessible that it's
Yes.
like it with it moving such fast pace like that, it's almost like it is pushing us away from identity or pulling us away from identity because it's
Fast.
it's not giving us a chance to recognize who we are, as women. We're not focusing on developing a craft on being a better woman. Like if I could just use this as an example, how we go through general education, we learn the different general studies. But has there ever really been a program to really teach us as women how we can be fearlessly feminine without having to try to be what society tells us to be, teaching us from a young woman up, you know what I mean? How to be clean, classy, um, when to speak, when not to speak, all those different things. And I know that made for some feel like, well, I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I don't want to be controlled. It's not that. It's just, in a sense, like structuring the guideline of what it is to be a woman. And if you decide to go off of that template when you get grown, then that's different. But just being able to have that foundation of what it's like to just be feminine boldly and not have it be almost like a sexual thing. But that
Yeah.
should be the empowerment of us as women, that we can bear children, that we feed the next generation, basically. Like we're over the future in a sense. I
We
mean, I
are.
think that's powerful to just even focus on the womb as a woman, what things we eat, that goes into our bodies and how it impacts our children, in the womb. I don't know if we focus so much on motherhood as much as we do our careers. Um, Even with wives, girlfriends, whatever, relationships, like we focus more on let's get the ring, let's get the wedding dress, let's get the bag, or let's get the rich guy. But okay, what am I bringing to the table as a woman? What identifies me as this girlfriend, as this fiance, as this wife?
No
And if this stuff,
relationship.
none. And it's I just got to get to the altar. Oh, he gonna ask me to marry him. Okay, but now we got to get to the
And my dress
qualifications of
costs
that.
this amount of money, and I'm gonna get these really expensive shoes.
Yes. And it's like
um,
almost like with our identity, like we focus so much on the wedding that the wedding only lasted really a day, but the marriage
if that.
loses all the focus. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As a
Because
wife,
you
I
don't
can't
know
even
how to be a
focus.
wife. You focus so heavily on the wedding that you didn't
Yes.
realize you heard them when they said, "Girl, don't you should go to marriage counseling." Oh yeah. Girl, when you coming over so we can go dress shopping.
There
So
you
you
go.
heard them when they said it, but you didn't
Yes.
take the time to invest in it. And
Yes.
that doesn't mean that you have to monetarily invest in it. That just means that you have to invest your time in. Why? Because you want the relationship to work.
That's right.
Because you have decided for yourself that this is the partner, this is the one that I want to spend the rest of my life with. This is the one I'm devoted to. This is the one that
Yes.
I'm loyal to. This is the one that I'm committed to. And in the same way, if you're really watching and paying attention, you would know if that person is devoted, committed, and loyal to you too, or at least put up a good front. And
Something.
don't
Because if
get
I'm taking
don't
the time, at least I can figure that out if it's a front, opposed to
yeah.
I ain't been able to take the time to figure this person out if we even compatible. If this
And,
is even somebody I want to marry.
right, and
Nah, I
don't let
just
it
want the
be
ring.
a year or two later. Oh, we filed for divorce. Like,
Yeah, because we
why?
was focused on the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. And you
And
missed
I think that
something.
that values, that adds to our morals, that adds to our values, as well as our character, like you stated earlier. Like if we don't take that time to really self develop, I would say, our own image, and not just what media has shown us what our image is to be, honestly, we would probably go real far. And a lot of this stuff wouldn't even phase us. Like even just the fear tactics with the news, like to
But they know
critically
that.
think,
That's
they
why
do.
they want to keep us stagnated.
They do.
That's why it's a liquor store in underserved communities on every corner. They got the liquor store next to the churches. They got the
Yes.
liquor store and the churches. The liquor store, the liquor store. We don't have enough community centers. We don't have enough parks. We don't have enough places where we can go and be creative and use our gifts and our talents. But we have that corner liquor store. We got that corner store that sells flaming hots with cheese and
Yes.
peppers.
Yes.
That's going into
Yes.
the baby's bellies at 7:30 a.m. instead of hey oatmeal, grits, cream wheat. I don't know
Yeah.
what the I don't know what vegan people eat, but I'm just saying sausage and bacon and biscuits, you know.
I know that's right.
But the community is missing something, and they're missing something because the identity of a woman, like you said, we are nurturers by nature.
Nature. Yes.
We feed generations not just physically with food, but we feed them mentally with knowledge. We feed them spiritually with our prayers and with our teachings.
Yes.
We feed them by who we show up as every single day.
That's right. That's right.
And if we don't know who we are, every generation that comes behind you, ma'am, that is listening, every generation that comes behind you, if you don't know who you are, they won't know who they are. And you will look up and you will find yourself 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 years old with the legacy of nobody's.
Mm-hmm.
It is my question to you is, and I want it to just I want you to sit in a moment. I want you to sit with this. I want you to join us next Thursday and every Thursday. This show comes on as we implore and dive deeper into the identity of a woman. But I want you to sit with the question of who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Who taught me how to love? And then ask yourself, do I really love me? And if I do, what does it mean? And what does it look like? Who do I show up as every morning to myself first when I look in the mirror and I'm brushing my teeth, to my children, to my husband, to my partners, to my sister, to my family, to my brothers? Who do I show up as to my grandchildren, grandmas, right? Who do I show up as when I walk into the door at work or when I get on the computer in a Zoom? They can see who you are right through that camera. Just like you can see us, they can see you. And it's important that you begin, if you don't know who you are. And if you realize that what you're looking at is not what you thought you would be when you were a little girl, you have the opportunity to make the one decision to change your life. It will change your destiny, it will change your path, and it will allow you to walk right into purpose. So that is our show for today. Tawanda, I want to thank you so much. We're gonna have to come back because I think we got some topics. We could go so many different ways.
We really can. We really can.
We can, and we're gonna dive deeper. I think we should just do an extension of what we talked about today, but then dive in deeper on different like honing in on one specific topic and then honing in on another topic, and just really going deep as it relates to imagery, because I think it's so important, because we're seeing things, we're seeing people, and sometimes they look like us. We waited all of our lives for women to be on a television to look like us.
Mm.
But if we really take a deep look at reality, they are not who we are. They don't identify with us.
Mm-hmm.
Something in their spirit ain't resonating with something in my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for coming on the show. Tell us how we can find you and we can connect with you.
Okay, well, I am on LinkedIn, so you can find me there. My full name is Tawanda Trask Holden. And also my media company, MajorBandsFilms.com. You can find us there. And we're also on LinkedIn.com too. So thank you for having me.
Awesome, 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 awesome. So I got one more question that I've asked. I like to ask everybody. What? It's called Spill Your Guts, but it's not like really. It's not like a serious segment. It's more of a fun segment.
Okay.
What is your favorite song that you listened to during the pandemic?
Ooh. You want me to just pick one? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of this artist, but her name is Malka Norwood, and she has a song called The Hills. So I think that one has been my song through the pandemic.
Okay, no, I haven't heard it, but you're going to have to send it to me.
Yes, it's beautiful. You'll love it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on the show, and we're going to have to do it again.
All right, thank you so much.
You are welcome. Hey guys, that is our time for today. I hope you enjoyed this topic. I know it was different. I know we're going deep. We're talking about the images. So join me again next Thursday, as always, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget to head on over to www.mffproject.com. Pick up the latest copy of my book. Check out our website. And then also, if you are in danger, if you are needing help and ready to get out of that domestic violence relationship, call the 800 number at the bottom of the screen, 800-799-SAFE. They have 24-hour care, 24-hour support. They can answer your questions and help you with safety planning. They can help you get to a place where you can meet your destiny and you can rebuild your identity. So that is my time for today. I am Chantel Branch, your domestic violence specialist, educating individuals on why their decision to remain silent keeps them locked in abuse. So happy Thursday, guys.